What kind of a war is it if victory always belongs to one side? Today we bring you a tale that has two sides and both believes they are right, but in every war only one side wins. Our story hero, however, refused to accept defeat, so he set out on a mission to build a time machine, to go back and rewrite the history, to win a war his village once lost. It all begins in a tiny village of barely 100 homes, and among them lives our young dreamer, Jeetu. Like many of you, Jeetu grew up loving tales, but every day he was told the same one, the story of a war between his village and the neighbor one. According to his grandmother, the other village cheated and won through deceit. Jeetu thought wasn't someone who could accept defeat. Determining to change the past, Jeetu teamed up with an old village scientist and built a time machine. And one day, when the scientist wasn't in home, he secretly travels back in the time. As soon as he arrived in his past, he sees the villagers preparing for a great war. He tries to tell to them, warn them, but they see him strange clothes and odd behavior and call him mad fucker. They start throwing him stones at him. Jeetu got panic, accept and returned back to his time, but he didn't give up. He grabbed an old photo of his grandparents and traveled back, only to chase once more. This time they called him a sorceress. Yet again he accepts. Now determined, he returns with an entire family photo album. But this time the villager thinks he is the child of witch, tied him to the tree, about to burn him alive. His grandfather appears and saves him. The villager finally agrees to listen. Jeetu warns them of what's coming, of the betrayal, the loss and the pain, and then he returns to his time. He was shocked, nothing had changed. Same houses, same street, same ending. He rushed to his grandmother and asked her again about the war. This time there was a twist. She told him that mysterious saint has once warned the village future, but people laughed it off as a child tale and ignored it. Jeetu realized something deeper. He made one final plan. The next day he traveled back, just one day before the war. He finds his grandfather, take him aside and warn him again, this time with a fear in his voice, saying if the village don't listen, the next rain will flood everything. Then he disappears once again. But when Jeetu returns to his home in his time back, everything has changed. The boundaries between the two villagers no longer exist. People from both sides live together peacefully. He runs home in joy, only to find an old woman inside who never seen him before. She chased him out, shouting him intruder. Confused Jeetu, instead this is his grandfather's house. The old woman was shocked. My husband never had a grandson. Jeetu was shaken. His world was shattered. He asked around, and what he learns crushed him. In this new reality, after the war was prevented, his grandfather married a girl from the rival village. Jeetu was never born. In trying to change the past, Jeetu had raised himself from the existence. He made one final trip back in the time, not to interfere but to let the things be, to restore what once was. Returns home, back to his original time, and wrapped his grandmother in a tight hug, tear rolling down his face. She softly says, instead of changing what has happened, focus on what can happen. Those words lifted a burden off Jeetu's shoulders, and for the first time he learned that defeat isn't always failure. Sometimes it's the start of wisdom. So that was today's story. I hope it moves you and maybe taught you something new. If it did, do not forget to share this video with your friends, like it and subscribe to the channel for such more stories. I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.